it's William here, and I want to talk about Wusik X42, a bridge program that I created that does more than just bridging. But right now we're just beta testing. This is for 28th of March. You can see that I have my two manager files here, the 32 bits and 64 bits. Let me open the 64 bits manager. It requires administrator rights on Windows so it can write files to protected folders. And right away you have here the source plugins manager. Let me open this one up. And I have all my plugins here. The ones in white are the actual ones. Everything else is going to be ignored by the manager. So I'm just working with these files that I have selected. And the great thing is that I can select a file. Let's say I want the square program here to go to the subfolder. So I have set up this subfolder. The other files are not going to use any subfolder. And I can also select it to not bridge the file. So it's going to just copy the VST file instead. But if I select bridge, it's going to bridge the file. So it's bridging all my files here because my bridge code does not just do the 32 bits or 64 bits. It also does the reverse, the 64 bits to 32 bits, if your operating system is 64 bits, of course. And it also allows you to buffer the plugin, so if it crashes, it's not going to crash your host. And I have here my target formats, so I have VST2 and VST3 selected as the target formats. If I want, I can select just VST2, and then the target bit type of bit, in this case 64 bits, but I can also select 32 bits. And on my options, I can set up the target paths. By default, it's going to set up, try to set up, and it's going to show to you the first time you use. But I already changed it to my temporary folder here for all the types, VST2 and 3, 32 and 64 bits. But you can select different folders for each format. So it's very handy. And once you have all this ready, you just click Update Target Plugins. And what it does, it checks all your plugins for the Source Plugins Manager, all the ones in white that are not ignored. You can see here they are not ignored. The other files are ignored. So it's just going to go one by one and create in the folder that you selected on the target paths. In this case, this folder here. Let me open this folder. It's going to create British files. So these are all my plugins, the Wusik X42 plugins, but they use this configuration file here to know where to look for the original plugin and some information about the plugin so you can bridge and load correctly. So I already have set up my Reaper DAW program. Let me open it up. So I have Reaper 64 bits here. This is the demonstration version I'm using. And if I go here now on Insert Virtual Instruments on a track, and I go on my VST instruments, all these files here are already being bridged. So the square eye is showing here as a 64 bits plugin, but it's actually a 32 bits plugin. So it's loading in a bridged format here. And when you move the window around, you can see that there's a delay, because this window here, the plugin window, is not actually inside Reaper. It's just showing on top, and my code is just moving the window as you move the Reaper window around. So it's being bridged. And if it crashes, it's not going to crash Reaper. It's going to auto load because I have set already here on my plugin manager under options to on crash auto load. So it's a very handy plugin. It's not just a bridge plugin, but it's actually a plugin buffer, so it can buffers plugins, allowing you to work with buggy plugins without problem. So that's just a quick overlook. And another great thing about it is that you can select 32 bits bridging, and even 64 bits plugins are going to be bridged under the 32 bits format. So if I update it here and I'll open Reaper again, and I can even open Reaper 32 bits and it's going to work. I have tested this already. So insert virtual instrument. So now if I go on the VSTi here, you can see they are all 32 bits. So my Wusik station version 9, which is actually 64 bits, is going to be bridged. And there you go, it's being bridged already. So it also works like that. So it's very handy. You can do pretty much anything you need, but we need more people to beta test this so I can check any problems that we found and anything else that needs to be done. So it's going to have more options soon. It's going to be having the MIDI processors, so you can do the same thing you can do with Wusik P2000, but for single plugins. If you need chaining, you still have to use Wusik P2000. So, okay, I think that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.